Hello everyone, welcome to About Ghost. This is Alexi, and today we're going to do a Skeletá album breakdown. We don't have the album out yet, but we have some descriptions of the songs, we have some clues about what it's gonna be like. So we are going to make some assumptions and create some theories based on what we know from Loma Vista, from some people who heard the music already, and from Tobias himself. I will also add my own interpretation and opinion about them, and let's see how it goes. Let's go. First, we start off with Peacefield. Building from a moving children's choir into a historic, heart-bursting shot of 80s rock and roll theater, it's the kind of epic album opener that now seems to be par for the course of Ghost. Tobias says, because the record is going to sail me into darker subjects, I wanted to set a tone of hope in the beginning. I wanted to add a hand to the listener. It will all be fine, but we are gonna go sideways now and go on a little trip to darkness. And my take is, remember guys, chapter 18, what a fiasco? I believe that's it. We can hear the kid choir. I love that sound. It feels like your heart is opening, and a strong sense of freedom, love and hope. I bet it will end in a funny and unpredictable way, taking a turn towards the darkness of the next song. And I believe that Peacefield is kind of the promemoria of the new album, and it's the signature of Papa V, as promemoria was the signature of Cardinal Copia. Then we move on to the next song, which is Lachryma. Throwing us straight back into classic territory with a marching heavy riff. Lachryma reads an aborted Nosferatu screenplay wrapped in Sabbathian doom metal and AOR cheese. Interesting. Tobias says it opens with more of a riffage, and I guess now comes off as somewhat typical Ghost mashup, where it's heavy on one end and is met with a big bombastic chorus. That's a song about self-deceit. Lachryma comes from medieval Latin, meaning tear, as a teardrop from crying. My wild guess is that we might hear some influences from Mozart's Lacrimosa in this one. As we know, Tobias is a fan of Mozart. He even used the Amadeus movie for Infestissumam art, so there might be something. Let's see. The third song is our well-known Satanized, with such a merely nefarious chorus that digs into your cranium with all the subtlety of David Cronenberg horror. It's no real surprise that this was plucked as the album's first single and the world's introduction to Papa V. Tobias says, Satanized is a song about love as being possessed by a demon, but the idea of coming off as being possessed by a demon because you're in love. So it felt like that was going to suit the record really well. I personally love the song and the video. It's full of longing and passion. I can't wait to see a whole arena singing blasphemy, heresy, save me. This song made me think about the direction it goes when I heard it. If you think about it, its lyrics are very Christian friendly compared to other songs. Of course, the song is called Satanized. It's provocative, but this is something untypical. Check what he's saying. If you think about it, we hear the protagonist of the song singing about how he begged God for the remedy. He wants to be saved from the beast. He's struggling. A funny take on that is that Tobias is begging for help because he sold his soul to the devil in order to make the best band in the world. A bit like the Rick and Morty episode, if you know, like open your mind, or where Morty was stuck in a body and he was singing a song, hey, save me, I'm trapped. And everybody was, yeah, that's such a cool song, and the guy was trapped. It's just a funny take, I don't believe that, but it's funny to think about it. Sounds to me like Tobias is getting a bit softer. The things he sings about get brighter and thankfully deeper, not shallower. Because usually bright, chill, happy songs can be shallow and like death, and with Tobias I'm sure that we will continue going deep even if it sounds something positive, light and bright. I like where this is going, as long as Tobias stays authentic and true to his vision. Let's move on to the next one. It's called Guiding Lights. Get your phone lights out. Apparently this is a ballad. The album's first big power ballad. It's dropped in early and it's corker. That road leads to nowhere is long, so there will be something seen about this. It's destined to be belted back at Papa in arenas soon, so maybe we will hear a power ballad played in the concerts, not only his. Tobias says Guiding Lights is the more traditional hard rock ballad of the record. It is about the non-ability to be able to speak to someone you know is going in the wrong direction. You don't dare say it. If I say this, we will not even be friends anymore. Yeah, I can see that, like, you can see something is not really good for anyone, but if you interfere in their way, if you criticize them, even without trying to, you can actually push them further away from you. And usually it's what helps is love and support, just being there. The Italian Ticketmaster representative says about Guiding Lights, it's like a soul-searching epic ballad. I love ballads, and Tobias knows how to make a great one, so I'm pretty excited for this. What about you? Next is interesting name, the Profundis Borealis. A dose of searing heavy metal urgency after that sidestep into schmaltz. This is another massive earworm, but digging a bit and there is certainly some of the Opus Eponymous era DNA still lurking. Nice news. Tobias says, Oscar Wilde wrote a letter called De Profundis, that means from the abyss. Borealis means northern, so for all of you black metal fans, it's one of the most immortalesque titles, because it means from the northern abyss. De Profundis by Oscar Wilde is one of the most heartbreaking things I've read. He wrote it while he was in prison for the serious crime of homosexuality. Can you imagine? The text is so sad and heavy, yet so beautiful and honest. You should check it out. Just grab some tissues. The Profundis is also reference to Psalm 130 from the Bible, wherein the writer calls out to God from the depths of human suffering, hoping for, expecting and insisting on God's hearing, with the addition of Borealis and North indicating upwards to heaven. We might interpret this song as describing suffering from heaven or suffering while in heaven. Next one is Cenotaph or Cenotaph, I don't know how to say it. It's a galloping burst of rock and roll drama. Cenotaph picks one of Skeletá's most profound emotional punches as it digs into the impact of death of a loved one. This will hit hard, it will hit home, and there'll be a lot of water. Tobias says about it, a Cenotaph is a stone structure, posing as a grave, but does not actually have a body inside. I thought that served as a nice symbolism for the idea that someone dying isn't necessarily embodied by his buried physical entity inside a grave, but is a part of our consciousness. This also will be for Tobias's brother. He will be emotional. There will be Papa tears, I bet. It will be powerful shit. The song will likely channel the loss into something and the grief into something powerful. So it's maybe this grief can be channeled into inspiration if we remember these people for the good, for the inspiring things they had in their lives. We can take anything negative and pass it through ourselves and make something positive out of it. Use it like a fuel. Anything negative can be a fuel for everything positive. Next, let's go to Missilia Amori. We have a reference to Kiss. Check it out. Look, this is from Loma Vista. There's a lot of deep stuff in Skeletá, but sometimes you just need a song that sounds like a classic Kiss and packs lyrics about shooting love rockets into your face. Tobias says a lot of hard rock in the 80s was basically songs that were stripped to. When love has started to appear as hate and disguises that as love, it can be extremely unpleasant. Sounds like a fiery, hard-hitting, for me it sounds like a fiery, hard-hitting throwback to 80s rock excess, blending classic Kiss style energy with a darker twist, of course. It sounds like a love gun to me. With explosive riffs and over-the-top lyricism, it seems to explore the thin line between love and hostility, turning passion into a battlefield. Be curious. And a genius idea actually, like everything from Tobias. Next we have Mark of the Evil One. Marks of the Evil One, a chuggy 80s rock anthem with another humdinger of a chorus. This is classic Ghost territory, skyscraper hooks mashed up with devilishly evil lyrics. But who is the evil one here? Tobias says, I think it's more interesting focusing on who the marks are. Lyrically, it's very indemnified interpretation of biblical writing. We think, sort of simplified as something cool. That sounds interesting. Maybe it will be like another song praising Satan in a Bible-esque way. We'll check it out. The lyrics may draw from ancient texts but could be spun in a bold, almost playful way, potentially shifting the focus to those who fall under the influence rather than the force itself, delivering what might be a fiery, larger-than-life experience. I bet we will also get some opus or infestissumam vibes here. More like infestissumam with a bit more sense of humor. We'll check it out. Next is Umbra. In the shadow of Nazarene, I put my love in you. Those are lyrics from the song. Oh god, Papa sounding horny with his lyrics again. We defy anyone to hear the cowbell smacking away on this one and not get a little hot under the collar though. Tobias says, the message is basically, all you need is love. I felt there needed to be one quieter song on the record, because at the end of the day, that's one of the main driving forces that we all have. This will be wild and fun. A goddamn cowbell, guys. We'll get the cowbell go again? I can't wait, and I really hope we get these guys pow, 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 just going at it. It will be great fun. And it also seemed primed to be a steamy, groove-heavy track with a irresistible rhythm, and playful, suggestive lyricism. If the album needed a moment of pure, unfiltered desire, this is probably it. Also, Umbra typically has an astronomical meaning, referring to the area of the Earth or Moon experiencing the total phase of an eclipse, the darkest shadow, not the lighter outer shadow, which is the penumbra. Possibly this will be a darker song with a heavier sound or darker theme. Satan himself could conceivably be described as the darkest shadow. So, let's see. And we finalize this with Excelsis. How on earth do you finish an album this bombastic? Why, with a big, swaying, waltzy ballad, of course. Sonically, Excelsis is a spiritual sister track to fellow Ghost album enders like Life Eternal, Respite on the Spitefields. Tobias says, the overall messaging, even though it's pretty death-heavy, is simply that if you are listening to this, you are alive, and you should live life as effectively as possible, because death is inevitable. Basically, we should all live right here, right now, or we're gonna miss it and regret. Excelsis is derived from the Latin word excelsus, meaning high, lofty, or exalted. It's often used in phrases like Gloria in excellis Deo, glory to God in the highest, and carries connotations of transcendence or reaching for something divine or elevated. For the album, Excelsis could symbolize a spiritual ascent or a final, reflective moment in the journey, one that's about reaching the highest point of understanding or consciousness before the inevitable end and death. What do you think, guys? Interesting album ahead. I personally believe this will be one of the best Ghost albums. I feel like we reached the maturity where Ghost has learned a lot and will give us something that has the roots that we all love. It will have Meliora, it will have Infestissumam, also some Opus Eponymus, of course Prequel and Impera, and it will be amazing. What are your takes on this? What do you think? Did you notice something else? Share your thoughts in the comments, let's discuss, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more ghosts in your life.